dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Emily Bennett. Tonight we begin in Leslie County, where murder suspect Alyssa Noble is back behind bars. She bonded out of jail in July, but today investigators say she violated her conditions of release. Noble is facing murder and assault charges in connection to a 2017 crash that killed Paige Hayes. Today I talked to family of Hayes, who says to them this is a relief. Wednesday morning, Louise Johnson picked up the phone to hear news she never expected.
The phone started ringing and people were calling saying that she was at the medicine shop.
The she Johnson is speaking of is Alyssa Noble, the woman who's facing charges of murdering her daughter, Paige Hayes, in a crash less than 3 years ago.
We found out today that she's been seen out several times over the past couple of weeks in cars and walking, and she's not supposed to be doing that.
In July, she bonded out of jail, being placed on house arrest with a monitoring device, not allowed to leave without her mother accompanying her.
I hope the judge will look at this and not allow her to get back out.
Wednesday, she was found in the medicine shop in Hyden under the influence.
I don't understand why the monitoring company don't call or notify somebody when you've got people that don't do anything they're supposed to when they're on these things.
And was taken to the Leslie County Detention Center, where she tried to alter her drug test.
She had dipped a cup into a commode to get tap water.
But for now, she is back behind bars, which for Hayes' mom brings comfort.
It's more of a relief to have her back in jail because she, to be honest, she doesn't act like she is responsible for anything that's happened.
Hoping this is one step closer.
Our life stopped the day Paige died.
To be able to stop reliving the pain every day. Now, Noble is facing charges of contempt of court, public intoxication, and tampering with evidence. Her trial in the crash is set for July 21st. Now, today we heard from the man accused of killing 2 people back in 2008. The retrial of Barry Hall continued in a Floyd County courtroom. Yesterday we heard 911 calls and an interview from the day he was arrested. While we heard from multiple people today, the longest testimony came from Hall himself. His attorneys argue that he did not have control of himself or his mental state, while the prosecutors are arguing all Hall's actions were deliberate.
And you just said earlier that you had no memory of it until recently, when the police and your taped statement indicates you had good memory of what happened because you sit down with them and told them what happened.
No, I didn't tell them what happened because I couldn't tell them what happened because I didn't know what happened.
Court will be back in session tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's expected the jurors will get the case tomorrow. Now, schools across Eastern Kentucky are still fighting sickness. This morning, multiple schools made the decision to cancel classes for the rest of the week to deal with dwindling attendance. That includes Letcher County schools. The decision comes about as they have been watching other districts suffer from the same problems.
We watch our numbers pretty closely, and sometimes it hits at different times. It may take longer for our district. We have a pretty large district, even though we don't have a large amount of numbers. I have about 3,000 students, but we have 9 schools, and they're spread out throughout the county.
Letcher County schools hope to be back in session next Monday. And a reminder that you can find a full updated list of closings on our website, WYMT.com. Now, drugs are coming up I-75 and K-9 units are ready for them. Williamsburg Police Department's K-9 spend their Wednesdays training for 8 hours. 3 of those dogs are dual purpose, which means they can sniff out drugs and those dealing with them quicker than any other officer. This is especially important as police along I-75 expect heroin to make its way off the freeway and into the streets.
We're not seeing that yet, and we know it's coming, so we're prepared for it, and the dogs are trained for it and ready.
And we're seeing a little bit of a rain and snow mix as we head into the overnight hours. It's very light at times. It's been kind of scattered throughout our area. You'll notice as we take a look at satellite and radar along with those temperatures where those lower 30s are, you see a little bit more blue. But if you're looking down into the Cumberland Valley, a little bit on the warmer side, mid to upper 30s. So they're seeing a little bit more of that green. Of course, it's very light showers and very light snow showers. I know we're seeing a little bit of a mix outside of the station. Not expecting any major impacts As we head into tonight, higher elevations might have some slick roads, but as we look at US 119 and Pine Mountain, you can't really see it, but maybe they're seeing some very, very light flurries up into that area. Now, as we head throughout the rest of those evening hour, or really overnight hours and into the morning hours, make sure to have that WYMT weather app handy. We'll continue to see those scattered showers / that rain and snow into those morning hours, but by the time we get into tomorrow, we'll see those clouds will continue to stick around, but we could see peaks of sunshine at times. And as we head into the next few days, we're going to continue to see rain chances. Sunshine does return along with those warmer temperatures. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Paige. Kentucky's abortion law was the focus of a hearing today. Attorneys for the American Civil Liberties Union and for the Commonwealth of Kentucky argued the case challenging the Kentucky law that bans physicians from performing the dilation and evacuation abortion, also known as the D&E method. A federal district court struck down the law in May 2019. The Commonwealth of Kentucky then appealed the ruling to the 6th Court.
I promised Kentuckians that I would defend the laws that are passed by our General Assembly. And today's argument in the United States Court of Appeals for the 6th Circuit is a demonstration of that.
The impact would be devastating on abortion access for women in Kentucky. It would eliminate an abortion procedure that women need and that doctors provide that is safe, and it would put women's health in jeopardy.
A decision on the appeal could take months, but attorneys say they're willing to take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court if necessary. Now, a bill that would expand sports betting in Kentucky is beginning to gain momentum in the legislature. The bill easily passed through a committee but has not received a vote in the full House yet. House Bill 137 would allow legal sports wagering on pro sports and even college teams. Proponents say the taxes and fees on betting would bring in millions of dollars for the state.
And in a budget year, when you're looking at $22.5 million, that could help fill budget holes.
Opponents say this is nothing more than expanded gambling and it requires a constitutional amendment. The bill still has a long road to go with its toughest test in the Senate. Governor Andy Beshear's proposed budget was introduced to lawmakers yesterday, including funding for one project in Floyd County that many have been waiting for, the reopening of the Floyd County Prison. The Southeast Kentucky Correctional Facility was announced last year. Since then, local officials have been waiting for the project to move forward. Now, with funding proposed, they believe good news could be on the horizon for Floyd County.
A few different areas that we were really excited about, first being the reopening of the prison at Wheelwright. Where the prison is not just a local economic driver, this is regional.
Judge Executive Robbie Williams says the 200 jobs that the prison would provide, if things go as planned, are more than enough reasons for the community to be excited about its potential. The U.S. Department of Agriculture today announced a more than $55 million investment into Kentucky's internet infrastructure. That money targets rural areas with little or no internet access. Breathitt County will see $2.3 million to deliver broadband internet to more than 600 households. The funding makes up almost 10% of the $600 million Congress provided to expand broadband and services in rural America. A demolition on an old shopping mall in Hazard started today. The land will soon feature 15 new homes for low-income families. Scott McReynolds with the Housing Development Alliance says this project has been in the works for a while.
So the city was able to come in and get a large CDBG grant, and so we're going to take this really run-down, dilapidated strip mall and turn it into 15 good homes.
The Housing Alliance hopes to have most of the work completed in 2 years. The Fazoli's is coming back to Pikeville, bringing with it a new development. The Yorktown Landing, which is what the city is rebranding the area next to the Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park, will feature the new restaurant and its first venture. The City of Pikeville's Fire Department Station 2 will relocate to that area, and the retail space is expected to be developed there by the end of next year. City officials say it is all about revitalizing the US 23 corridor.
We have this property that was acquired when we purchased the land for the Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park, and it was there, so we thought what better place to start to breathe a little bit of new life into that area.
Fazoli's is expected to open this summer. The city is now accepting bids for someone to construct and manage the retail space. Coming up at 11, for the first time since his death, Kobe Bryant's wife releases a statement about the tragedy that shook her family and the world.
And we'll continue to see a rain and snow mix tonight with more rain on the way by the end of the week. I'll have more on that coming up.